We will start our session with a note of welcome address. I'll request Dr. S. Premalata, Associate Professor of Education, VOC College of Education, to welcome the gathering. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Anifia ma'am. Good morning, all of you. It's my pleasure to be with you all through this digital platform in this pleasant morning. At this golden moment, I thank Lord Almighty for providing us the great chance of working under the leadership of Sri APCV Chokalingam sir, the president of our college, and Sri APCV Shanmugam sir, the secretary of our esteemed institution. I am very happy to serve the student community along with our justful management, dynamic principal, beloved faculty members, and friendly non-teaching staff. On behalf of all, I happily present this welcome address. First, I welcome our principal, Dr. T. Kanagaraj, who is the motivational force behind all our academic activities. On behalf of all, I welcome our principal, sir. He will join with us very soon in this online meet. Next, I am so pleased to have the chance to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. M. Malayappan, MD, Head of the Department of Psychiatry, Government Kilpak Medical College, Chennai, who is going to provide guidelines for tackling the children with learning difficulties, which is a great challenge for every teacher today. On behalf of our management and our college, I welcome Dr. Malayappan for this online academic session. Welcome, sir. I happily welcome our Assistant Professor of English, Mrs. P. Priya, who is going to talk about the significance of this online meet and also the importance of its title. Welcome, Priya, ma'am. I extended my cheerful welcome to Mrs. M. Sasikala, Assistant Professor of Education, who is going to introduce our guest speaker with her elegant English. Welcome, Sasikala, ma'am. My warm welcome to our Assistant Professor of English, Dr. A. Anthony Aroke Anfia Mel, who is going to give concluding words for the session. Welcome, Anfia, ma'am. My hearty welcome to Dr. Guruvasihi, our Assistant Professor of Education, who is going to propose vote of thanks in this session. Welcome, Vasihi, ma'am. Next, I welcome the digital expert of our college, Dr. G. Rajadurai, Assistant Professor of History, who is hosting this online program in an effective and excellent manner. Welcome, Rajadurai, sir. It's my pleasure to welcome our beloved faculty members to this virtual meet who are making our working environment more pleasant. Welcome, dear my friends. We have participants from various colleges and schools and research scholars from universities whose presence make this program more colorful. Welcome, dear respected teachers, dear teacher educators and research scholars. Welcome you all. Next, I welcome the student teachers of our college, research scholars of our institution and our beloved alumni. Once again, I welcome you all to this delightful digital discussion. Let us learn together, let us achieve together. Let us learn together, let us achieve together, but keep social distance to win Corona. At this moment, let us all salute the real warriors of COVID-19. We should salute the real warriors of COVID-19. I wish to conclude my welcome address with advance wishes for the Holy Bakri. May this holy day bring happiness, joy, and good health for all. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of welcoming, your words of appreciation, and words of wishes. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Rajri, sir, thank you, ma'am. Rajri sir is principal present here.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No.
right. Okay. Thank you, sir. Now I request Mrs. P. Priya,
Okay.
Assistant Professor of English, to give a note of prelude about today's topic, learning disorder. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all. Learning is a treasure that follows us everywhere. Learning is essential to our existence. Just like food nourishes our body, so as information and learning nourishes our minds. By lifelong learning, we can keep our body and mind in shape. In this learning, the classroom provides an effective and important part in the child's development and behavior. When there is some developmental disability, it leads to learning disability. The teaching learning process is an inherently social act, and as teachers, we have the greater responsibility in promoting the social and emotional dynamics in our course program. Sensitizing this, our Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University provides a paper in the B.Ed course program called Creating an Inclusive School, in which we learn about different disabilities, different approaches in dealing with them, different models of disabilities, and so on. The importance of inclusive education is to educate the children with disability and learning difficulties along with the normal ones within the same roof. To nurture the well-being and the quality of learning within each of us, this webinar has been organized by the Grievance Redressal Cell of VOC College of Education. Hope this webinar would be an eye-opener to many facts regarding the learning disorder. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Mrs. M. Sasikala, Assistant Professor of Education, to introduce our eminent resource person. Ma'am, please.
Yes. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். With my praisings to the Lord Almighty, I feel on the top of the world to greet a phenomenal morning to all of you on this glorious day. Hope all of you are in the pink of health. Myself, Mrs. M. Sasikala, Assistant Professor of Education, VOC College of Education, Thuthukudi, alumni of the same Temple of Learning, is assigned to introduce the resource person of today's national level webinar organized by the Grievance Redressal Cell on the topic learning disorder. I am inclined to do the same. First and foremost, I submit my gratefulness to our management for providing us everything on this earth and giving an identity to us in the society. I also thank the convener, the coordinators and the organizers of this webinar for providing this splendid opportunity. A tree that wants to touch the sky must extend its roots into the earth. The more it wants to rise upwards, the more it has to grow downwards. The more it wants to rise upwards, the more it has to grow downwards. So, to rise in life also, we must be down to earth, humble and grateful. To rise in life, we must be down to earth, humble and grateful. Yes, to rise in life, we must be humble. And today, we have got such a humble and simple but serene and great personage with us. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Dr. Molayappan, sir. He belongs to the Department of Psychiatry. Psychiatry is one of the medical specialties that deals with issues related to behavior, emotions, prevention, as well as treatment of human mental disorders. Psychiatrists are specialists who are experts in mental health. They have a deep understanding of physical and mental health and how they affect each other. They help people with mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, worry, fear, obsessional thinking, etc., etc. If teachers are the second guardians of the students, doctors are the second guardian spirit to the patients. If teachers are the second guardian of the students, doctors are the second guardian spirit to the patients. Doctors as well as teachers are gracious, responsible, reassuring, trustworthy, and skillful. We are grateful to have such a champion with us to address on learning disorder, which is a great threat to the teachers as well as parents today. Hope his address is going to enliven as well as energize us, reorient as well as refocus us, revive as well as relaunch us, redefine as well as rekindle us, reassert as well as reshape us. The resource person Dr. M. Malayappan, born in 1968, had his schooling at Kovilpeti and got his MBBS degree through Tirunelveli Medical College in the year 1991. He has completed MD Psychiatry through Madras Medical College in the year 1997. He has started his career as lecturer in psychiatry at Raja Muttaya Medical College, Annamalai University, Annamalai Nagar in the year 1997 and served there for 3 years. Then he has served in the Chennai Institute of Mental Health, occupying various positions as tutor, assistant professor in psychiatry, and senior assistant professor of psychiatry from the year 2001 to 2007. From 2007 to 2009 and 2010 to 2011, he has served at Madras Medical College. Government Vellore Medical College Vellore has also benefited through our resource person service in the year 2009 and 2010. At present, he is the professor and head of the Department of Psychiatry, Government Keelpark Medical College, Keelpark, Chennai, which was started in the year 1925 as the School of Indian Medicine. Our resource person has 23 years of rich experience. He has teaching experience too in psychiatry to medical students, nursing students, and postgraduate students since 1997. He conducts himself as examiner in the psychiatry for Tamil Nadu, MGR Medical University, Kerala University of Health Sciences, and other private universities too. He has presented guest lectures in numerous state and zonal conferences. He has published papers in remarkable journals also. At present, he is the Chief Executive Officer in charge of State Mental Health Authority, Tamil Nadu. Above all, he is an elegant, eminent, respectful, polite, and proficient personality who has readily accepted our invitation and showed his magnanimity to address the August gathering through this meet. Thank you, sir. I think at this auspicious hour, I would like to reveal that our resource person, Dr. Malayappan, and myself had our schooling together at Lakshmi Mills Higher Secondary School, Kovilpati, for which we are grateful to our alma mater for providing us education which has given identity as socially responsible citizens. I think of our parents who gave education through such an institute of reputation. We also thank our teachers at this juncture. I am thankful to Lord Almighty for giving this opportunity to contact my friend after several years and get his knowledge shared through virtual media. Thank you once again. Friends are those rare people who ask how we are and then wait to hear the answer, says Cunningham. Of course, true it is with my friend too. Thank you, Doctor. Help the afflicted, strengthen the weak, support the wavering, glory of the living, hope of the dying. Help the afflicted, strengthen the weak, support the wavering, glory of the living, hope of the dying. These words are true not only with God, but with doctors too. These words are true not only with God, but with doctors too, who are the prime movers of the society. Thank you so much for the difference you make in the lives of your patients. Thank you for your kindness, sincere caring, concern, encouragement, most of all exceptional professional abilities, Doctor. Let me conclude with the following lines. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Let us try to do our best today. Praying Lord Almighty to shower all riches, health, happiness, and peace of mind to our resource person so that he can enlighten many more needy souls. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing such an ingenious, quick-witted, and ambiguous person. Ma'am, obviously, your remarkable words created a curiosity among us to hear from a resource person. Thank you, ma'am. Now, the session is handed over to our resource person. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I thank VOC College of Education Grievance Redressal Cell, principal of the college, and the various faculty in the organizing team for giving me this opportunity to speak about learning disorders for this august audience. And my special thanks to my friend Sasikala ma'am for her kind words of introduction. And I am very happy to talk about learning disorders to teachers and students who are aspiring to become teachers. I think I have talked about this topic for doctors, nurses, and teachers also in the past. But this experience of talking to a college of education is for first time for me. I have talked many times to doctors, but I am very happy to talk for teachers and teaching trainees. And we as doctors who are aware about the difficulties in learning. The children, 1 minute. Yeah. Is the screen not, is this PowerPoint presentation viewable, everybody? Yeah. Are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
And,
Can see, sir.
Thank you. And it's one of the not very uncommon. It is almost 5 to 10% of the school-going children have learning disorders. The severity of the learning disorders vary from very mild to very severe, and it borders with normality. See, you would have seen children who are very bright in their academics, who are average in their academics, who are below average in their academics, who are dull, and there are children who are less than dull. So, this normality, normal learning capacity, and learning disorders, they occur in a continuum. It is not separable. So, some of the children who have a normal learning capacity, below average learning capacity, may look like a child with a mild learning disorder. So I want to say that learning disorders is not something separate. It is actually an extension of normality. It occurs along a spectrum or a dimension, I would say. So in the border area, there may be some difficulty whether to say that the child is a normal child with below average functioning or a child with mild learning difficulties. So we will not bother much about those border area, but I will try to give a bird's eye view about the learning disorders in the next 35 minutes. Learning disabilities or learning disorder is an umbrella term for a wide variety of learning problems. Almost we use it as synonyms, disabilities and disorder, even though there is a slight difference. In this presentation, I will use interchangeably. See, when a child intelligence is normal, when the child's capacity in other areas of life, other areas of skills are found to be normal, and if the child is having disproportionate difficulty in reading, writing, spelling, mathematics, then we say it is a specific learning disorder. The child with a specific learning disorder appears to be intellectually capable of learning key academic concepts of reading, writing, and mathematics, but seems unable to do so. The phrase unexpected academic underachievement captures this notion that the child's learning problems are indeed specific and not due to intellectual disability or global developmental delay. In all other areas, the child will be functioning normally. In all other skills like other functions like shopping, talking, hand skills, learning, acquiring new skills, everything else will be normal except this reading, writing, and mathematics. We call those children as having specific learning disorder. Sometimes when the disorder is mild, moderate, we will have difficulty in identifying the children. They will look normal. They will look like normal, like a below average child, not making much efforts. But only a close observation and a knowledgeable person, like the awareness in the parent and awareness in the teacher, you will be able to identify the learning disorders. These difficulties are not very clear. If it is severe, anybody will tell the child is having learning disorder. But when the difficulty is mild and moderate, we will have uh, dilemma whether the child is a normal child or a child with a learning disorder. It often go unrecognized. This is a very sad part of learning disorders. Parents do not recognize that a child is having a learning disorder, and sometimes teachers also do not recognize that the child is having learning disorder. It is often misunderstood as many things. The child is not actively listening. The child is lazy, clumsy, not hardworking, not interested, disobedient, like that. The child is misunderstood instead of recognizing the learning disorder. That is the main reason why the doctors all over the world want to they want to increase awareness about learning disorders in the society, among parents, among teachers, among educators. So I will try my best to give a bird's eye view about learning disorders. Children with learning disorders aren't lazy or dumb. In fact, most are just as smart as everyone else. A learning disorder is not a problem with intelligence or motivation. Learning disorder is a condition in the brain that causes difficulties comprehending or processing information. There are specific areas in the brain which we are not very sure get impaired, and because of which their ability to read a letter or pronounce a letter is impaired. There are specific abnormalities in the brain that has been found out, which is responsible for learning disorders. It is not because of laziness, it is not because of lack of interest, it is not because of disobedience, it is not because of they want to do something else. So there is a specific disorder in understanding or using language, either spoken or written. An imperfect ability to listen, think, speak, read, write, spell, or do mathematical calculations. See, students with learning disabilities are not mentally retarded. They are not slow learners. They are not lazy. They are not incapable. They are not looking for excuses. They are not getting away with something. They are not cheating. They don't bring other students down. They are not dumb. They have difficulties in reading, writing, listening, speaking, reasoning, doing mathematics. See, because of these problems, because of their difficulty in learning, it will be very stressful to a child, because the peers, the other children will look them down. The teacher will look them down. It is agonizing and stressful for the child. It leads to demoralization, low self-esteem, chronic frustration, and compromised peer relationship. The child may try to avoid friends. The child gradually the child may start school refusal or develop somatic symptoms like pain abdomen, vomiting just before the school time, especially on school days, and once after a few hours it will become all right. So undiagnosed, this may be a clue that the child should be sent for assessment, or we should look whether the child is having learning disorder. Undiagnosed and untreated, these problems increase until the child dislikes school, refuses to do homework, and develops oppositional defiant symptoms. The child may also go for depression, anxiety disorders. So there are various psychological and behavioral consequences of learning disorder. The child may become disobedient. The child may start developing behavioral problems like lying, stealing, sometimes even running away from the family. So there are a lot of consequences of having a learning disorder. The society is not going to appreciate me. The society is not going to look at me brightly. So the child gets shattered inside. It makes efforts. It makes efforts to learn, read, write. But because of the inherent inability in the brain, they are unable to do so. So chronic attempts, their efforts, and the disappointment and frustration, failures will lead to sadness, withdrawing from the environment, going for low self-esteem. It may manifest as behavioral problem. It may manifest as depression. It may manifest in many ways. So it's our duty to find out the real cause, the underlying cause of learning disorder, and correct it appropriately. So if a learning disability, why it should be assessed? It may lead to difficulty in understanding and producing work, can lead to school failure, loss of self-esteem, decreased effort, discouragement, further school failure, dropout, unemployment, and waywardness. It may lead to crime. It becomes ultimately a waste of human resource. So if we are able to identify learning disability very early and make appropriate remediation, we will be able to prevent all these consequences, complications. That should be the aim of the society. See, at least for minimum 6 months, they must have the difficulties in spite of intervention. Effective teaching, in spite of good teaching intervention, they have difficulty in reading, mathematics, and written expression, at least for a period of 6 months. There is impairment at school or work, not due to intellectual disability or any other psychopathology. We do a diagnosis of specific learning disorders. When should we assess them? When there is a family history of learning difficulties, it runs in families. When one of the family member having learning difficulties, the chance of other member getting learning difficulties is more. When there is a confusion over left and right, writing letters or numbers backwards, reversal, difficulties with mathematics, difficulty in following 2 or 3 step instructions, academic performance below 2 standard deviation in the class, behavioral problems, attention problems. So when these situations occur, we have to suspect learning disorders and do an assessment. So I'll tell you in preschool children, kindergarten, early school, high school, what are all the manifestations of learning disorder. I already told you it can range from very mild to very severe. In preschool, there is lack of interest in playing games with language sounds, example, repetition, rhyming, mispronunciation of words, trouble remembering names of letters, numbers. In kindergarten, unable to recognize and write letters, write own name, trouble breaking down spoken words into syllables, trouble recognizing words that rhyme, like cat, bat, hat, trouble connecting letters with their sounds. Example, letter B makes the sound B. Unable to recognize phonemes. Example, does not know which of the set of words dog, man, car starts with same sound as cat. In primary grades 1 to 3rd standard, they continue to have problems recognizing and manipulating phonemes, unable to read common one-syllable words such as mat, complains that reading is hard and avoids or refuses to do it. In middle grades 4 to 6, mispronounce or skips parts of long multi-syllable words, confuses words that sounds alike, like tornado or volcano. Tornado for volcano. Get the first part of the word correct, then guesses widely. Example, reads clover as clock. Poor comprehension with or without slow, effortful, and inaccurate reading. Sometimes it may be without this difficulty in reading. The child will be able to read normally, but there will be impairment in comprehension. After reading, if you ask what is the meaning, then they will not be able to tell you. They will not understand what they have read. There may be with or without difficulty in reading, the child can have poor comprehension, trouble completing homework or test time, fear or refuses to read aloud. Fear or refuses to read aloud, avoids reading. The child can have omissions. The student skips individual words or group of words. The student inserts one or more words into the sentence being orally read. The student replaces one or more words in the passage by one or more meaningful words. Substitution, gross mispronunciation of a word. The student pronunciation of a word bears little resemblance to the proper pronunciation. Hesitation, the student hesitates for 2 or more seconds before pronouncing a word. Inversion, the student changes the order of words appearing in a sentence. Disregard of punctuation, the student fails to observe punctuation. For example, may not pass for a comma, stop for a period, or indicate a vocal inflection, a question mark, or an exclamation point. So these are all the various manifestations of learning disorder. So I'll show you some of the examples of moderate to severe learning disorders. You can see the spelling, flowers, people. You would have seen much, but I want to highlight that this may be because of an underlying specific learning disorder. Spelling. So this is from a child with moderate to severe learning disorder. So in high schools, the avoidance of written work, errors of punctuation, capitalization, grammar, word usage, sentence structure, and paragraph structure. There is frequent omission of words in sentences or incomplete sentences, use of limited vocabulary in writing. There is poor organization of written work. They fail to edit disordered and ineligible handwriting, letter forms that are not decipherable, admixture of printing and cursive writing, inappropriate admixture of capital and small letters, confusion of similar letters or sounds, inability to select correct spelling from two possible alternatives, same words spelled in different ways within one piece of written work, difficulty remembering how to spell common words, can learn from spelling tests but fails to remember correct spelling in written work. Orally, they will be able to do better, but in writing, they will do very poorly. See, these some of the, when we do assessments, these are our findings. See, this D has been reversed, and they have substituted capital letters for small letters. Here, small letters for capital letters. These are some of the manifestations of underlying specific learning disorder. I'll show you some more. So they miss alphabets, and they make errors in spelling. These things are very, every teacher will be very experienced with this type of mistakes. But the only thing I want to tell that if such mistakes are found, then specific learning disorder has to be thought of in the mind. There should be a high index of suspicion. That's why I'm showing this to a group of teachers. You are all well versed, and we are not well versed in such type of things. How was the young seagull's first attempt to fly? See, they make spelling mistakes, motivated, happened, parents, such a difficulty in spelling. So same thing. When the child was asked to write about your country, see the spelling of capital, minister, cricket, agriculture, occupation. They mix capital and small letters. In the spelling mistakes, beautiful, country, currency. In mathematics, they have deficits in rapid fact retrieval and calculation fluency. Kindergarten and elementary school child will have problems in number concepts and counting skills, fail to recognize values of numerals, be unable to copy numbers and write numbers to dictation. Older children have impairments in rapid retrieval of number facts, example 6 into 7, and in completing in the arithmetic procedures. Common errors are inattention to the arithmetic sign, incorrect regrouping procedures in addition and subtraction, misalignment of digits, completing the arithmetic procedure in the wrong direction, example top to bottom in order to subtract a smaller from a larger number, inability to complete a sequence of steps in a multi-step problem, poor comprehension of place value and fractional concepts. So again, the difficulty in mathematics can be seen when we ask them to write. These we do it in our clinical work in the process of assessment. So These are all the various ways in which a diagnosis is done. Interview with parents. School should give the information. This is very important. Information given by the teacher, information given by the headmaster in a report form will help us in making an assessment for specific learning disorder. Child diagnostic interview, physical evaluation of the child is very important because there are so many causes for difficulties in learning. We should not supposed to miss them, and we should not wrongly diagnose a specific learning disorder. Psychoeducational testing, we apply them, differential diagnosis, and then come to treatments. So what are all the difficulties a child is having? Only a teacher and the parent can give. They have difficulty in reading or spelling or writing or organization, paragraph formation, understanding, telling. What is the exact nature of difficulty the child is having? It varies from children to children. There are so many subtypes of specific learning disorder. So this information provided by the school is very, very important for making an assessment of specific learning disorder. There are very many conditions which can mimic like a specific learning disorder. For example, if the child is having hearing impairments or visual impairments, they will have impairment in learning. So that has to be identified and corrected before concluding that the child may have specific learning disorder. Depression may look like a learning disorder. Environmental factors such as impoverished or disorganized home, abuse or neglect, excessive school absence, frequent school changes, lack of opportunity for instruction. These are all the environmental reasons that can lead to impairment in learning that has to be identified and should not be mistaken for specific learning disorder. Normal variations in academic achievements. Every child academic achievement cannot be uniform in a society. So in a class of 50, there will be dull student and there will be bright student. The normal variations in academic attainment should not be mistaken for specific learning disorder. A mental retardation, intellectual disability, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, psychotic disorders, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, these are all clinical conditions or social conditions or psychological conditions that can mimic like a specific learning disorder that has to be looked into and that has to be ruled out before coming to a conclusion of specific learning disorder. Some of the tips for the parents: you have to appreciate the child, find out the ways your child learns best, let your child help with household chores, make homework a priority, pay attention to your child's mental health and your own. Talk to parents should not become anxious or depressed. Talk to other parents whose children have learning disabilities. Meet with the school personnel and help develop an education plan to address your child's needs. Establish a positive working relationship with your child's teacher. And tips to teachers: breaking tasks. These are very important in accommodating a child with specific learning disorder. Breaking tasks into smaller steps and giving directions verbally and in writing. Giving the student more time to finish schoolwork or take tests. Letting the student with reading problems using textbooks on tape, audio textbooks available through recording for blind and dyslexic. Letting the student with listening difficulties borrow notes from a classmate or use a tape recorder. And letting the student with writing difficulties use a computer with a specialized software that spell checks, grammar checks, or recognizes speech. These are some of the accommodations the society is expected to make for children with specific learning disorder. And learn about the different testing modifications that can really help a student with learning disabilities, show what he or she has learned. The same assessment cannot be given for all students, especially for students with specific learning disorder. Teach organizational skills, study skills, learning strategies. These help all students, but are particularly helpful to those with learning disabilities. Work with the students' parents to create an education plan tailored to meet the students' needs. Establish a positive working relationship with the students' parents through regular communication, exchange information about the students' progress at school. Psychiatric comorbidity can present because I have already told you there can be psychological consequences, behavioral consequences. It occurs more commonly. So it is almost always present. So it is not an exception. So we have to find out whether the child is worried, sad, depressed, anxious, avoidance, having behavioral problems secondary to specific learning disorder, and if present, it has to be addressed, treated. In the management, now we'll move on to the what has to be done for specific learning disorder at the student level, educators level, special education, accommodation, teacher, board, what the government has to do, what the board has to do, board of education has to do. In the student we'll go through in each stages. In remedial education is a cornerstone of treatment, should begin early. The central nervous system's has higher plasticity in the early years, so remedial education should be started as early as possible. Once it has been identified as specific learning disorder, we have to think of remedial education. Where should be given, whether it is a special in a normal school or a special school or in a special clinic, it has to be decided. It will vary from child to child because the severity, difficulties are not uniform in specific learning disorder. If it is mild, very mild, it can be done in a normal school itself. If it is very severe, then a special classroom will be required. Who should give, whether a normal teacher or a special educator or educational psychologist help is required, whether it is one-to-one is preferred, whether in small groups or one-to-one or in a normal classroom. Everything has to be designed, tailored for the individual students. This is a small group intervention with a special educator for children with specific learning disorder. See, the accommodations required for a child should be decided by a team consisting of the parents, child, and the teacher, educator, special educator. Individualized education program team with both parent and child are a part of decide which accommodations are appropriate, like providing audio tape in large print, reduce number of items per page or line, a designated reader, present instructions orally. Sometimes a prompter will be sitting in the examination and telling the questions to the child orally. Once the child listens, it will be able to write, but it will not. It will have extreme difficulty in reading the question paper. So, what is needed, what accommodations is needed for the child has to be individually tailored according to the needs, according to the disability. Allow for verbal responses, for answers to be dictated to a scribe, the use of a tape recorder to capture responses, permit responses to be given via computer. Allow frequent breaks, extend allotted time for the test, provide preferential seating, special lighting or acoustic space with minimal. These are various accommodations available. Not everything is for every student, but it has to be tailored according to the needs. Administer test in a small group setting, in private room or alternative test sites. Administer test in several time session or over several days. Allow sub-test to be taken in a different order. Administer test at a specific day of a time. Technological aids like electronic file scanners, predictive software, spell checkers, grammar checkers. Reading association between letters and sounds. Reading, see, this is some part of remedial education. They have difficulty in the association between letters and sounds. So reading practice every day for 10 to 15 minutes. High interest or low vocabulary materials. Multisensory methods. Special education or remedial education involves multisensory methods of teaching for children with specific learning disorder. See, this is a teaching reading through pictures. A special educator, a child with a specific learning disorder. He is teaching alphabets through pictures. Spelling and sentence writing practice, review of grammatical rules, creative writing therapy, limitation method, practice handwriting each day. So a special educator or a faculty in a special education college will be a better person to talk about what are the various methods, techniques employed in educating a child with specific learning disorder. Concrete, semi-concrete, and abstract level teaching, flashcards, workbooks, computer games. Project Math is a computer program main for the purpose of teaching children with specific learning disorder. So it should be an integrated team approach, a special educator with the child, parents, teachers. The child, if the disorder is mild, moderate, the child will be in a normal school, will be getting remedial education 2-3 hours in a week. If the child is very severely impacted, very severe specific learning disorder, the child will be in a school for learning disorder. So it depends whether the child to be in a normal school or whether the child to be in a special school for learning disorder children. See, some of the government of India facilities or provisions for children with specific learning disorder. Specific learning disorder is one of the disabilities under Right of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. It guarantees free education in an appropriate environment for everyone till 18 years of age. Government institutions of higher education and other higher education institutions receiving aid from government shall reserve not less than 5% of seats for persons with benchmark disabilities and upper age relaxation of 5 years for admission in institutions of higher education. In government establishment, not less than 4% of total number of vacancies in the cadre strength in each group of posts is meant to be filled with persons with benchmark disabilities, of which 1% each shall be reserved for persons with particular benchmark disabilities, and one of which is specific learning disorder. So they have reservation for education, they have reservation for employment also, based on specific their disabilities in specific learning disorder. Various national educational boards, Indian Certificate of Secondary Education, CBSE, Samachir Kalvi of Government of Tamil Nadu, NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, have various concessions, grant various concessions for children with SLD. Different concessions are given by different boards. We will go through what the Tamil Nadu State Board Samachir gives concessions. It gives extra time, 1 hour, overlooking spelling errors while correcting the paper, use calculator for mathematics, use of scribe, not exemption from second language, only 4 subjects if granted second language exception. See, these concessions are given depending upon the degree of disability the child is having. We will do psychiatrist, clinical psychologist to do an assessment. We do an IQ assessment. We do an assessment of specific learning disorder and give a report to the medical board, and the medical board will give a certificate which will be submitted to the school and to the Department of School Education, and they grant these concessions as per our recommendations. So it can be sent through the school, or the private candidates can send it, can get the certificate and send it on their own. See, these are some of the things we require. As a psychiatrist, we require school textbook. When the child comes for assessment, we expect them to bring school textbooks, school notebooks, examination answer sheets. For example, midterm exam, half-yearly exam, quarterly exam, or annual exam of the previous year. We would like to go through the answer sheets, teachers and school report, and the recommendations, passport size photos. So these are various steps involved. Elaborate and document the deficits a teacher is expected to do. How a recommendation letter for exam concession for a learning disorder candidate to be written. Elaborate and document the deficits in child school performance and difficulties a child undergo while doing academic activity. Elaborate the efforts made by the teacher to address the issue of academic backwardness. Elaborate the progress made by the student after specialized teaching and extra coaching by the teacher and headmaster. Letter of recommendation to medical board for appropriate concession during examination to address the child's difficulties. And lastly, about the vocational opportunities. In spite of the difficulties in academic areas, many children with LD are very creative and very good with their hands, as in drawing, mechanical skills, etc. Waiting for children to fail or drop out before providing vocational opportunities is not sufficient, as it creates a discrimination. Children should be exposed to various pre-vocational skills early in school and then be allowed to choose other subjects such as carpentry, drama, catering, art, etc. while graduating from school, while completing from school. Some of the challenges we face: poor awareness regarding the specific learning disorder among those who need to identify it, parents, teachers, doctors, and the society in general. Stigma, negative connotation of inferior intellectual ability. By saying specific learning disorder, there is a social stigma. It means a child is not up to the mark. The child is not having a normal intelligence. Like that, these are all misbeliefs. And the poor attitude are attributing laziness, oppositionality, lack of interest to the child. These are all the challenges we face in identification, assessment, and rectification, remediation of specific learning disorder. Critical differences in reading and the manifestations of the disorder in different languages. Some child will have difficulty in Tamil, but they will be slightly better in English. Some child will have the extreme difficulty in English, and they will be slightly better in reading Tamil. There are various subtypes of specific learning disorders. Resources for assessment and intervention, not very. India do not have required resources for assessment and intervention, but still with available resources, we are doing our best to intervene children with learning disorder. Lastly, If children cannot learn the way we teach, we can teach them the way they can learn. This is the message I want to convey, and I am very I thank every one of you for your patient listening about specific learning disorder. What is it? How does it manifest? What are the various other conditions which can mimic specific learning disorder, and what to do, what we have to do with a child with specific learning disorder. I thank everyone for your patient listening. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sasila ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, doctor. You have proved yourself. You said that you are new to teachers as audience, but you have provided enough of knowledge. You have supplemented with process of assessment by showing the real scripts. You have not only given bird's eye view, but we could also experience the worm's eye view in your deliberation. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Dear audience,
Madam.
it is in our hands to transmit this knowledge into action and take steps to support the learners with learning disability and have a smooth flow along with the normal students. Thank you all. Ma'am?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, right. Shall I proceed, ma'am?
Yes, you proceed, please.
Okay, right. So I'm happy closing to give to our resource person's speech. Every child has a different learning style and phase. Each child is unique, not only capable of learning, but also capable of succeeding. Understanding our children's frustration with a learning disorder, we teachers should give them the tool to blossom and confident to reach their true potential. With the help of a resource person's valuable suggestions with examples and motivation, how to create positive attitude among students with learning disabilities. We teachers can help our children to channel their interest and talents and ignite the passion within them. We should not notice race, creed, or disability difference among students, but we teachers should not only notice the nuance, every look, every influence in their voice to diagnose them and help them to live a normal life. This all can we do being a teacher. If a child cannot learn the way we teach, may we should teach the way they learn. I repeat, if a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. So, if we adapt this quote itself, I think we can reduce the stress of the learning disabilities of the students. Thank you so much. Now, I request Dr. S. Guruvasugi, Assistant Professor of Education,
Sorry for the
University
interruption.
College of Education, to propose the vote of thanks.
Anifia, ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
somebody wants to ask some clarification from Dr. Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Rajendra sir. Rajendra sir.
Yes, madam.
I think
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Rajendra sir, am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes. Audible.
Okay, sir. Happy and a joyful day to all. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul, and it is a powerful catalyst for happiness. I thank God Almighty for showering His blessings.
Madam, sorry for interruption. Madam,
We are truly blessed to have a kindful, generous, and meticulous management for their support in each and every moment. We are truly grateful from the bottom of our heart for the special thanks to our special resource person, Dr. M. Malayappan, MD, Psychiatry, Professor and Head, Government Keelpark Medical College, Chennai. We extend our extreme gratitude to the sense of respect towards others, your experience, guidance, feeling of meaningfulness in life, positive hoping with life, compassionate, considerate, righteous, temperate, warm, and wise nature, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We feel so glad to thank our active, adaptive, ambitious, and pragmatic principal, Dr. T. Kanagaraj, for his continuous encouragement. I am thankful to the creative, dispassionate, enthusiastic coordinators, Mrs. M. Sasikala, Dr. S. Premalata, and organizer Dr. G. Rajadurai, and the personalities prelude and postlude of the program, Dr. A. Anthony Aroki Anifiamal and Mrs. Priya, for their support, and also my teachers and friends. I am grateful to my affectionate students and alumni for their valuable support. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the participants, who is none other than the well-wisher of students, community, family, society, and world. I thank them for their patience, methodical, and a prudent nature throughout the program. Thank you, one and all gathered here. Thank you. Sir?
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, sorry for the interruption. There is a question
Yes,
for
madam.
you, sir. Okay, right. I will read the question. It is asked by Rosie Devota. My daughter in grade 1, she's good in learning and also other extra activities, but I have to be with her for everything, every time for everything. Sir, can you get me?
Yeah. She is able to first standard whether she is up to the mark up to the 5 years of age her attain that is of recognizing so that's recognizing numbers whether she is up to that level. Hello.
Excuse me, sir. This is Rosie Devota. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me, ma'am.
Actually, she's in grade 1. She's good at everything. Well, she never depend me, but she need to be with her beside. She'll learn herself. She'll read herself. She'll write herself. Online classes are going on. So she can able to operate the computer. She can open the Zoom app with the password, ID, everything. But for everything, I should be there around her. That's the problem.
Problem in learning. She does not have problem in learning actually.
She have no problem. She full marks in everything.
She is over dependent on you.
Yes.
She always wants the mother to have.
No, she never depends me. She don't ask me for any help. She never asked me to help me to read. But she want to see me.
Needed.
I want to be before her eyes for every time.
5 years.
6 years. She's going to be complete 6 years.
That is only a behavioral variation, I would say. She is not having problem in learning. She has problem in socializing. Not able to sit alone. So first standard is normal only. Any child will have an anxiety to go to the school and stay away from parents. So this is not something abnormal. As she gets more, as she becomes older, she will be able to do it without your presence. It's only it may be due to overprotect to allow the child to play with other children, allow the child to without first 2 hours in a week. So this is not a problem of learning. This is a variation in behavior, a normal behavior. Like she always expects her mother to sit by the side whenever she learns.
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, excuse me, sir. You mingle with everyone.
Behavior can be corrected by your behavior. You allow the child to play with other children. You allow the child to spend few hours a week in your absence. So, an overprotective mother can make a child dependent on you. So, I will say we must allow the child to be independent to some extent from the age of 5, even before that. So, you have to balance between your supervision and freedom you give to the child. So this is something related to the mother and the child relationship. How much we give freedom, how much we supervise them, how much we control them. that requires fine tuning, madam. This is nothing to do with learning problem. So, how many children you have? Hello, ma'am.
Only one. I have single child, sir.
Whether other children are there in the neighborhood, next house, opposite house, other
Actually,
children are.
we are in Saudi Arabia. She is learning in Riyadh only. She is studying in Riyadh only. But she used to mingle with everyone when we going for a common party or something. She will mingle with everyone. But she wants me to with her for all the time. Even she plays with other kids. She just want me to be there. Where she
You have to make her play with other children in your absence. That's a behavioral change, behavioral modification you have to try, and you can call you can get the help from a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whichever place in Gulf. You can consult so that the child
Okay.
will be able to function independently even in your absence. You have to train. You have to train the child. It's only a behavioral variation, and because you are in a foreign country, I think socializing, they may have difficulty in socializing in the absence of mother. It is over dependence on parents should not be there. The child should be able to function independently by the age of 6. So slight modifications like behavior will make the problem all right. It's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. There's another question too.
Yes, please.
Is stammering a kind of dysphagia?
Stammering?
A kind of dysphagia.
Stammering is a developmental disorder. It is not a dysphasia. The dysphasia is a difficulty in speech production, but actually stammering, dysphasia usually we refer to the problem in the external apparatus, the throat, whereas stammering occurs in the higher centers of the brain. We do not know what is the exact cause for stammering. It can be subjected to behavior therapy, speech therapy. So it is, in medical terms, it is not equivalent to dysphasia. But I do not know what the education psychologists say. They use dysphasia in a different meaning, but medically dysphasia is a difficulty in voice production, whereas stammering, there is difficulty in the higher centers of the brain for thought production. So it is not same medically.
Thank you, sir. These are the questions asked in the chat
Stammering
box.
is not a learning disorder. Stammering is a neurodevelopmental disorder of speech, which requires speech therapy. Which is a type of behavior therapy. Speech. There is a separate therapy, speech therapy. Nothing to do with learning problem.
Thank you so much, sir. These are the questions in the
ma'am.
chat box, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So there's a
Thank
kind
you.
notice to the
Welcome.
participants. So the feedback link will be sent to your registered mail. So don't worry about that, right? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Premlata ma'am,
Yes.
you can carry.
Yes. Yes. Principal sir is here.
Hello, madam.
Principal sir is here. Principal sir.
Anufia, madam.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Madam, link is available in chat box.
Okay, right. Participant, just listen. Link is available in the chat box. You can click the link and register your feedback.
Rajadhari sir.
Yes, madam.
Rajadhari sir. Principal
Madam,
is
yes.
here.
No.
Sir, doctor sir. Doctor
Hello,
sir.
yes, ma'am.
Sir, one more small doubt. Is there any relationship between the learning disorder and the IQ level?
No, by
Sir?
definition, specific learning disorder, the intelligence is normal. But children with low IQ will also have learning problems. A child with a low IQ, for example, a child with IQ of 85, 80, 70, they will have the same difficulty in learning. We call them as slow learners. Okay. we call them as intellectual disability, they will also have the same difficulties in reading, writing, spelling, learning, remembering, concept formation, comprehension, everything they will have problem, but they are not the same. That is why we use the word specific learning disorder. The word specific itself is meant for intelligence is normal. The child is having a normal intelligence but has specific impairment in reading, writing, mathematics. That is a definition for the word terminology specific learning disorder. The intelligence is within the normal range. But children with low intelligence will also have problems in learning. We may have global impairment in all areas, including learning. Am I clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sasigala ma'am? Sasigala ma'am? Sasigala ma'am? Rajeshri sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Then shall we conclude this?
Yes, okay. Sasigala madam is not here. Yes, she came.
Sasigala ma'am?
Yeah. Thank you, friends. Good day to all.
Anfia ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
We can conclude the session.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you participants for your presence here. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable suggestions and motivation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Can I leave?
Yes, thank you, sir. Participants, just fill the feedback form, submit it, and then you can leave this.
Thank you, everybody, for gracing the program.
Sasigala ma'am, will you please
Yes, ma'am.
ask the doctor to wait for some time to take the photograph? Shall I ask the doctor, sir?
Okay, you ask.
Rajeshri sir?
Yes,